truth be told, I have an insane amount of builds that I created in NBA 2K26. And the good news is I was able to basically test every single attribute. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be ranking every single attribute in NBA 2K26. Let's not waste any time and jump right into it with close shot. Close shot is literally only good on a build that obviously you're a big. That's about it. I mean, either way, if you're a 7-4 and you're going against a 7-4 and you got 99 close shot and that dude ain't jumping and that dude's got good D, close shot really is not going to help you that much anyway. So close shot definitely, I think, belongs in the C tier. It's definitely good, but you know, it's not that good, and I feel like, you know, it ain't no S tier. Driving dunk might actually be S tier, but I think personally we're gonna put it at A tier because I changed my mind. S tier. There's no weakness. Like, I can't even think of a weakness. What could be the possible weakness of driving dunk? Please let me know. Especially in NBA 2K26, bro. I mean, you got builds with an 87 driving dunk going up against 7-4 motherfuckers that got 99 block, and we're still getting the dunks on them, so S tier. Driving layup, you know what's crazy, bro? I would honestly have probably put driving layup in B tier or C tier yesterday. Literally yesterday. But I played against this red plate that was absolutely destroying me with floaters. It was unguardable. Like, I don't know what his driving layup was, but unguardable. And I'm not even joking. I was playing a 5-on-5 not pro-am, 5-on-5 proving grounds game, and this dude literally had me on him. He would get double teamed, he had a center jumping, and homie was still just flicking that up. Green. You would jump in his face. Green. So I don't know, bro. Driving layup might be underrated this year. I definitely don't think it's as good as driving dunk, so we're not gonna put it as S tier. But you know, floaters might be like that little underrated thing that if you can get good at floaters, you might be, you know, having a nice, very nice advantage over other people. Standing dunk, same thing, A tier. I think on certain situations it could be, you know, B tier, C tier, and certain situations S tier. You know, 7-4 against the, you know, 6-5. S tier. But you know what I mean? Standing dunk is great. It is good. It's a good attribute to have. But you know, in terms of like badges too, I guess it does give some good badges, but the same thing with driving dunk, so it's not like a differentiation between them. So I don't know. I think standing dunk is pretty respectable A tier. Post control. So this is very weird because, you know, if you're talking post control on a center, maybe you could put it at A tier. But we're trying to have every single build in mind. So with every single build in mind, you know, because of how good it is on a, you know, a big, I do think we're gonna put it at B tier because it would almost be like S tier on a big because you're gonna have high post control on a big if you're, you know, playing smart. And if you are obviously on a guard, you're literally not going to use it, so it would probably be in D tier. So I think just, you know, in between the middle, perfectly in the middle, because, you know, you use it on certain builds. Mid-range shot, you know, A tier. It's honestly, you know, you can have 80 mid-range shot and get away with it. That's what I have on most of my builds, between like 75 and 85, I'd say. And you're good to go. You'll hit every mid-range shot if you're open. 3-point shot, obviously S tier. You got to be shooting threes. You got to be shooting threes nowadays on bigs. You got to be shooting threes nowadays on small forward. You got to be shooting threes on every single build or you're throwing. Unless obviously you have some super meta strategy that, like, you know, you're just a massive big and you're sitting down low and you're only playing twos on the park, and you know what I mean? Unless we're getting super specific, but I feel like for the general person, S tier. S tier for like 99% of people. Free throw. D tier? I mean C tier? I don't know. You could have a low free throw. And considering the fact that most people have high 3-point shot and or high mid-range shot, your free throw is going to automatically be high from that. So therefore, you don't need it up because you can still hit shots. So there's no point to hire it higher than what you already get from 3-point mid-range shot. So D tier, not really important. Even if you're playing rec, I got like a 60 3-point shot. I like never miss a free throw. Pass accuracy. Ooh, this one is actually probably one of the most difficult ones to rank because it's so dependent on your build, but at the same time, it's not. I honestly, I can't. I'm gonna put it at A tier because on a big, you want high pass accuracy. You're getting those rebounds. You got your psychopathic point guards that are sprinting downfield. So you got nobody to pass to. You got to have that high pass accuracy. Even if you're playing threes, even if you're playing twos, you want your passes not to be intercepted. So I think we're gonna put pass accuracy as A tier. Ball handle, S tier. I think S tier. You want, like, even if you're on a big, you want high ball handle. You want to be able to control the ball. And nowadays you got meta builds that could fucking be a 7-4 dribble set demigod that could do everything. And to do everything, you need ball handle. And, you know, if you're on a point guard, you obviously want at least like 86. But, you know, if you're trying to get up there, you can get to the 92 to 95. And all of a sudden, when you have, you know, handles for days on legend and your speed with ball is high, you start doing crazy shit. And it's good on, you know what I mean? It's good on every single build. You're going to want ball handle. Speed with ball, extremely underrated S tier because you really notice the difference. And I'll tell you this from personal experience. I got a lot of builds. Way too many builds. I would tell you the number, but I don't even know the number. I got way too many builds. But my speed with ball are very different on all of those builds. And I will tell you, you notice a massive difference of how fast not only you dribble, but how fast you move when you have a high speed with ball. I got one account with, I believe, 94 speed with ball, and oh my god, that dude can move. Oh my god, he can move. So S tier. Even if you're on a center build or, you know, small forward or whatever your build is, high speed with ball, and all of a sudden you're going to be moving faster, which is just very important. Interior D. I actually don't think interior D matters at all. I mean, it matters a little. Obviously, you know, you want the badges, but you can get all of those badges with perimeter D, at least most of them. Not some of the block ones, but how many people are really getting snatchback blocks every single possession anyway? Not that many. But honestly, I would even put it as a C tier in the case of centers, because, you know, obviously centers, you want to have some higher interior D, but it just doesn't seem to matter that much in this 2K. Perimeter D, you might disagree with this, but I think S tier. And I'll tell you why. First of all, I have had builds with 86 perimeter D, and I can't defend for my life. It sounds crazy, 86, but I can't defend at all for my life. 92 perimeter D, and all of a sudden I'm defending like a fucking lockdown, a crackhead lockdown. And that's because of certain badges, which are Challenger and a Mobile Defender, if I'm not mistaken. Those are the two that are really, really important to get up. And when you get to 92, all of a sudden you start getting them to Gold and Legend for Immobile Defender, or it might be Hall of Fame. But basically, I am a lockdown with 92 perimeter D, and I can clamp when I want to. When I'm try hard. When I'm like chilling, it's like whatever. I'm going for steals probably half the time. But when I'm going try hard and it's a crazy game, I can actually lock a motherfucker down with 92 perimeter D. And defense is literally half the game if you think about it. Literally is half the game. So you want to be able to defend, and this literally will give you the badges to do that. It is probably, I would put it higher than S if I could. I really would. And I would go in order, but I want to grab strength. The reason I want to grab strength is because I think strength is one of the most underrated attributes in the entire game. And I'll give you a great example, okay? I was playing Rec the other day, and I was going against a dude that was 5'11 with literally like 20 strength. That dude couldn't guard me. I dropped 77 points in a Rec game. 77 points. Dude could not guard me. I started getting double teamed. I was still popping. I was kind of going crazy. But I kid you not, the strength would have made all the difference. Immobile Defender, or I'm definitely pronouncing that badge wrong, literally, it kind of like body blocks. It's like I'm playing fucking hockey, bro. I like check people. And I'm tiny, bro. I'm 6'1". And I'm going against 6'7" point guards probably half the time, and I am decking them. I got 85 strength or 86 strength on my 6'1" build, and I swear it's my secret weapon. It is so important to have high strength. It's not even funny. That badge is broken. Immobile defender. I literally kid you not. I'm just straight decking people. They run into me. I'm like, I hold LT. That's it. I only hold LT, and all of a sudden they can't dribble. They go. I move my stick to the right. When they move their stick to the right, I get steals, bro. Like, it's crazy. It's I would almost put it as S tier, but I don't think it's on the same level as everything in S tier. But I do think it's secret, and I think most people have it at D tier, and most people would be wrong. I'm telling you, most people would be wrong. Steal. Steal is a very interesting one. If you're going for steals, if you're trying to be a very good player, I honestly, I'm going to go with A tier again because steal is so good. I've had builds with about, 50, 60 steal, and, you press X in between the lane and you poke the ball and it goes out of bounds and they get possession anyway. But when you get into the higher steal levels, I got certain builds that got like 85, 89, and you start getting steals not just, not just in between lanes, but on ball carriers. And having a high steal, instead of getting those weird things where I would fucking stick my hand out and fucking tip the ball instead of catching, I'd be like, what the fuck? My guy straight up catches that shit now. So definitely recommend getting high steal because I think it's underrated and definitely A tier. You see, block is very interesting. I'm gonna put block at B tier, but it could be A, it could be C, but I think B tier makes the most sense. I don't know if you know this, but 2K Labs dropped a video explaining how defense works this year, and in terms of shot contests, and to actually get a shot contest, that percentage. To get that percentage, it actually is relevant to your block, and that's it. Like, that is literally it. Like, when you press Y, that's like your block, that rate, and all of a sudden you start getting better animations. And when you get to 60, you get better animations to 70, 80, and whatnot. So, honestly, I will say block is kind of in the middle, though, because it's kind of hard for me, because on my center builds, right? My center builds have high block, but I don't really even get blocks that often, But I can contest them if I'm close to them and they shoot. They're bricking that shit, especially if they're tiny and they're smaller than me. They're bricking. But I don't get the actual blocks as often as I would like. And then on my smaller builds, I have a lower block, and because I'm so fast, it's the same thing. I can contest them and be close to them without having to jump in their face and get the super high contests. I can just stay close to them because I'm very quick. You feel me? So block is like, it's important, but it's not as important as you would think, because like they made it kind of seem like, oh, you got to get high block down, because that is how you get contests. But it's like, at the same time, you can kind of get away with it depending on what your build is. You know what I mean? I feel like that's valid. Offensive rebound and defensive rebound are very, very interesting. I think obviously defensive rebound more important? I don't even know, bro. This one I'm just straight up, I could be wrong. I'm gonna admit both of these I could be wrong, but I think B tier is the best because obviously on your bigs you want to have very high perimeter or defensive and offensive rebound. And on your small guards, you don't need it. You can get away with like 40. I think I have 60 on my small guards just so I can get the badge, which allows me to get rebounds from time to time. It's definitely helpful. I don't think it's really on the same level as A tier. I really just don't. I think it's important, and unless your build is specifically like you're not even a 3-point shooter and you're just a big that's like a big that wants to only get boards and he's doing some cheese shit on the twos, I think it's just B tier. I think you can get away with, like, depending on what your build is, I feel like it's good, but it's not great. It doesn't necessarily provide the most value as it is important, but you know what I mean? I feel like I'm not explaining this one right because this one's hard because it's important. It definitely is important, but it just doesn't like play as much of a factor as people really would think. It only becomes bad if you're like on a build that should have rebounding and doesn't. You know what I mean? It's like something you just have to have if you're, if you're like 6'9" and up and taller, you gotta have high defensive and offensive board. You just got it. It's something that's mandatory. You just got it. And if all of a sudden you're running 60 fucking defensive rebound on a 7-4, yeah, you're fucking throwing and you're tripping out because all of a sudden your teammates are like, bro, I can't get a board. Why can't you get aboard? What the fuck? You know what I mean? Speed. Speed. Oh my god. Speed. Is it S tier, A tier, bro? I'm having an aneurysm. I don't know. I think it's A tier. I think it's close. I think it's very close to S tier, but it's a little off. It's a little lower on the, importance as ball handle and 3-point shot and driving dunk. It's just like a little bit lower. It's like, I honestly would put it in between. I really would. Speed is very important on every single build. Same with agility, but agility not so much, probably B tier, because agility is kind of like, you really notice it in terms of your lateral defense of how quickly you go side to side. And these two kind of go hand in hand, you know what I mean? They kind of go hand in hand. Speed, agility, you want them both high, but like high relevant to your build, as high as you get it without spending extra points to put them into it. You know what I mean? You don't need a build with 98 speed if you got like a 43-point shot. You know what I mean? So it's important, but it's like as important as you could get. As high as you can get, you can do it, but it's not essential. Vertical, I think vertical is C tier, because I feel like everyone, you get your vertical up to whatever you need for your driving dunk, whether that be like 75, 78, 85, 82, whatever it is, you just get it up. But it's not like crazy important. I haven't really noticed it when I have really high vertical on like a build that's meant to get, rebounds. I haven't really noticed it that much. That on like compared to like a 7-4 build that doesn't have its high vert, I feel like, it doesn't make that big of a difference. Not like some super secret stat. But wow, we actually finished. That's everything. If you want to see, more videos like this, you want me to rank badges, or you just want to give me your opinion, let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you next time. Peace out.
Chasing the horizon with you.